Welcome to The Common Fan, your go-to podcast for SEC smack talk, top 25 game day predictions, and fan-first football takes in college or the NFL. Here is your host, Bryce Tillman. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk ball.
Yes, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Common Fan. I'm your host, Bryce Tillman, and thank you so much for making us a listen every single day. Today, we're going to be talking about the South Carolina Gamecocks for the 2025 football season preview. We're going to be talking about LaNorris Sellers. Is he a Heisman winner? Names to watch on the offense and defense. And then we're going to do a game-by-game schedule prediction with a final record prediction of the 2025 South Carolina Gamecocks. And listen, this team was loaded with talent last year. Showed serious potential, ability to win ball games, overcome adversity, but came up short of the playoffs and ended up dropping a game in the bowl game to Illinois, a 21-17 loss. Shout out to Illinois. Great program on a major climb. But the Gamecocks were better than that, in my personal opinion. You know, they started the season out really shaky with Old Dominion, squeaking out a win 23-19. Nobody had a lot of faith in this team. The following week, they go and they dismantle Kentucky at Kentucky 31-6, dropping a game next week to LSU 36-33. Look, LaNorris Sellers got hurt in that game. Robbie Ashford came in, tried to do his best. The team fell short. They were up 17-0 at one point in that game. Then they dropped the game to Ole Miss, dropped the game to Alabama, and then, like I said, dropped the game to Illinois. But that's in the past. That was 2024. This is 2025, and we're going to dissect this team, get into it, talk about the schedule, talk about what LaNorris Sellers needs to be, and how this defense can be to improve and get the South Carolina Gamecocks into a playoff berth for 2025. So, starting out, FanDuel has LaNorris Sellers winning the Heisman Trophy preseason at odds 16-1. Plus 1,600 is how that translates. That's pretty good odds. That's pretty good odds for a true sophomore coming in. You know, LaNorris Sellers is a dual-threat QB that can sling the ball. He can run the ball. He can make freak plays outside of the pocket. He can scramble. He can throw off the back shoulder, throw off the foot, throw off the run with defenders coming at him. You name it, LaNorris Sellers can do it. LaNorris Sellers' stats for 2024 were 2,500 yards, for 18 touchdowns and 7 interceptions with a QBR of 69.8 as a true freshman. I mean, this kid is 6'3", 240 pounds from a home. He's a hometown boy from South Carolina over in Florence. He is the answer to this team. A healthy LaNorris Sellers wins ball games for the Gamecocks. But to give credit to South Carolina's defense last year, 2024 SEC season, South Carolina's defense was ranked 4th in total yards allowed per game, 4th in the conference. They were also ranked 3rd in the SEC in rushing yards allowed per game. 3rd. You wasn't just going to go up to the Gamecocks and run that football down their throat. They had an elite defense with elite players that are also returning to help LaNorris Sellers, to help that true freshman that come in to make the plays that he needed to make. And if he made a mistake, they had the defense to back it up. And for the 2025 season, I don't see that changing. I mean, this team, like I said, is loaded with talent. Some of the key players on this team, obviously it's LaNorris Sellers on offense, right? But what we need to see is players to step up. You know, you had Rocket Sanders to hand that ball off to last year. He's gone. He's gone. So now you have to rely on another running back, or you have to rely on Nick Harbor on the outside, who can run like Usain Bolt on a track. But we need him to step up with the big frame that he's got, the weight that he's got, the speed that he has, and the route running capabilities that he has to be that player that LaNorris Sellers can lean on to get that tater to, right? Nick Harbor. On the other side of the ball, you have Dylan Stewart, edge rusher, phenomenal key player to this defense. So my question is, does South Carolina have the ability to overcome adversity and win the games that they need to win for the 2025 season? Now, look, their schedule's no cake in the park. It's tough. I mean, you're opening up the season August 31st against Virginia Tech. It's home. But this game means something to Shane Beamer. His dad, Frank Beamer, was a legendary coach, a legacy at Virginia Tech. How awesome is that? Man, this is the type of stuff that makes college football so special to me. You see moments like this. You see clips on X, Instagram, Facebook, any kind of media outlet. Walk-on players gaining scholarships, freak plays, kick six, the miracle of Jordan Hare, the tossed botch play against Ole Miss Arkansas in the past. We've seen Virginia Tech call against Miami last year. We've seen all kind of plays. The block punt from Michigan State to Michigan. This is what makes college football special. These type of things. So for the love of God, if you're a college football fan, cherish these moments. Cherish this game from South Carolina playing Virginia Tech. Father's legacy versus son who's building a legacy. South Carolina going to Virginia Tech. Give me South Carolina winning this game August 31st, 2 o'clock p.m. South Carolina starts the season 1-0. Following week, they got South Carolina State. Really no need to elaborate in that game. South Carolina should win that easily, 2-0. The following week after that, Vanderbilt at home playing South Carolina at William Bryce Stadium. Diego Pavia, he's got all the flash. He's a juiced player, as I like to say on this podcast. I expect him to be explosive. I expect Vanderbilt to not just be typical on Vanderbilt anymore. I mean, upsetting Auburn last year, upsetting Alabama last year, having a winning record. This team is coming, and they're going to be ready to play. But the Pavia train's over to me. He's got potential, and we've seen it for a couple years now. I mean, he come from New Mexico State that come over and whoop the SEC team, and I still have to live with that every single day as an Auburn fan. He's in the SEC now. He done well last season. I think he'll do well this season. But the Pavia train will come to an end in 2025. Give me South Carolina winning this game September 13th to start them out 3-0 in the season. Following week, they go to Missouri, which Missouri is a team that I'm not really sold on yet this year. I don't know the talent that they're returning. I know they lost a lot of key players. Brady Cook, Luther Burden, a lot of defensive personnel. Missouri, they've done fairly decent in the SEC since they've been here. They've made the SEC championship since they've been here. That teams that have been in the SEC since the beginning has never been able to get there. Okay, so respect Missouri, put respect on their name. I appreciate everything that Coach Drink's done there. But when you go roster for roster, talent for talent, South Carolina takes his edge. LaNorris Sellers takes the edge. His legs and his throwing ability will win him this game, September 20th. I have South Carolina winning that game against Missouri, putting them at 4-0. With the following week at home against Kentucky. Don't really have much to say about Kentucky. Don't really have much to say about them. They got a new quarterback coming in. Lost a lot of people. Their defense was decent last year. Lost people off that. Zach Calzada, he's injury prone. He never did prove himself in the SEC. I got to take South Carolina in this one. That's an easy choice for me. All right. So that puts South Carolina at 5-0 right now. Going to LSU. And I just talked about this with a good buddy of mine. Diehard LSU fan. LSU has the best SEC quarterback in conference right now in Garrett Nussmeier. No questions asked. If I make my list today, I've said it a couple times. It goes Nussmeier first, LaNorris Sellers second. That's the order. But I haven't seen what LSU is improved on defense. I know they have improved on defense, brought a lot of key addition players in. They upgraded the offensive line. I believe Nussmeier is going to have a little bit more time in the pocket. Maybe not rush some of the throws like he tends to do. But at the end of the day, I've got LaNorris Sellers and Shane Beamer's defense winning this ball game at Death Valley October 11th. And that is going to keep that is going to keep South Carolina 6-0 heading into the Oklahoma game, which is at home. John Mateer coming in, Jade Knight coming in. That's great. That's awesome. Oklahoma's defense, yeah, they're good. They are good. They were good last year. Sorry. They were good last year. But Oklahoma's offensive line was probably the second worst in the SEC last year. Injuries destroyed them. The ones that were there didn't step up to the plate. And I didn't see any additions in the offseason to change my mind on that. Sure, John Mateer is awesome. He come from Washington State, same place as Cam Ward. Has some great stats there, and he has an ability to spin the ball great. Accurate throws. He can run. He can make plays on his feet. He can make back shoulder passes. I'm not taking any of that away from him. But until I see him win at Oklahoma, count me out on that one. I'm giving South Carolina another win. So South Carolina to me up to this point is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0 playing Alabama. This is where it gets tricky for me because a lot of the same arguments that I've made about other quarterbacks, I can make against Ty Simpson. But the Alabama brand still recruits itself. It is still one of the top rosters in college football. This roster is still loaded with 5 stars, 4-star plus athletes, composite 5 stars, you name it. Anytime they need to go to the transfer portal, they get them. Ty Simpson will have a shaky start of the season. Ty Simpson will win this game in South Carolina. Alabama will win that game. That will be South Carolina's first loss of the season. That will put South Carolina at 7-1, traveling to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is not the team that they were last year. They had the number 1 offense in the SEC, number 1 defense in the SEC. A lot of players got drafted, including their starting quarterback. That's another team that's coming in with a new starting quarterback, Austin Simmons. With the best offense and defense in the SEC, Lane Kiffin still found a way to lose 3 ball games. He still found a way to lose 3 ball games. I don't have confidence that he can win the big game. Give me South Carolina in that game. Following week, you got to go to Texas A&M. To Texas A&M to play a Marcel Reed-driven Aggies team by Mike Elko. Team is another team that recruits itself. They've got the money out there. Texas is a brand. The state of Texas is a brand, right? They're always going to compete against the Longhorns and recruiting and whatnot. But Texas A&M is still loaded with talent. This team had hopes of making the SEC championship last year, but fell short to South Carolina, right? Texas A&M, the team and the fans have this game circled on their schedule. I don't see South Carolina winning this game against Texas A&M at the 12th man. Give me Texas A&M winning this game for the Aggies. November 22nd, South Carolina Gamecocks play Coastal Carolina. That should be a win. You know, Coastal Carolina, they've had some good teams. They've had some good records here in the past couple of years. SEC talent should never lose to a team like Coastal Carolina. I have the Aggies winning against Coastal Carolina. Saturday, November 29th, versus Clemson at William Bryce Stadium. This Clemson team is driven by a veteran quarterback, Klubnik. This defense is loaded with talent. Dabo Swinney is an elite head coach. Couple national championships under his belt. This was tough for me. South Carolina going to Clemson last year, winning. That was right when Clemson was back finding their groove. You know, the talent was always there. They just dropped a couple games early. They needed to bounce back. This is my toughest take on this schedule. But I'll ride with the SEC on this one. Give me South Carolina winning this game, and that is going to end South Carolina's season with a 10-2 record. LaNorris Sellers, I'm predicting him to be a Heisman finalist. I'm high on the Gamecocks. Okay? This team is loaded. They've got it. They've got the juice. They've got a good coach. I like what South Carolina's doing with this program. They've turned it around. I have South Carolina going 10-2 in regular season. My bold take is South Carolina 10-2 regular season going to the SEC championship. I'm excited. I can't wait. Guys, LaNorris Sellers of Truth, be excited about this edition that came last year, coming as a true freshman. He's in his sophomore season now. South Carolina Gamecocks going 10-2. That's my final prediction for them. 10-2. No reason you're not in the SEC championship. I'm not ready to drop my predictions of who wins it because I got a couple other teams that I think could go 10-2, and then that's going to be a tough decision I got to make. That video will drop sometime before season starts. Me and my buddy Cameron Williams, along with Kyle Dewitt, who was on the Alabama podcast. We'll be hopping on. We'll discuss that. South Carolina Gamecocks 2025. Get excited. I know this is a little bit shorter video than what we normally do. It was kind of last minute. Had to make something shake. LaNorris Sellers, Heisman finalist. South Carolina, 10-2. This has been an episode of The Common Fan. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.
You've been listening to The Common Fan. See y'all next time. Same time, same tailgate.